Guys, we're answering Reddit today. I'm in no means a professional in any kind of sense, mentally, nutritionally, anything like that. I am a binge eater. I speak about binge eating on this channel. I thought, why not see what everyone else is saying about this? Because this episode is just for relatability purposes. Thought I'd put that out there. So let's start. This was posted 6 hours ago. Hi all. I've woken up on a Monday after another weekend of binging, too ill to go to work, and I'm finally able to admit to myself I have an issue. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. At high school, I'd spend my lunch money on sweets and cakes to binge, and that continued off and on to my late 30s. But things seem to be escalating now. I've got into a lot of debt from my binging, and I've put on 4 stone since lockdown, where I was at the other end of the extreme, gym nearly every day and very restrictive eating. Once the gyms closed, things got out of control and have stayed that way. I have anxiety and depression and have mentioned binging to several GPs who have dismissed it. I feel very stuck and now I'm afraid to damage my health in the long term from this. I just don't know where to start with addressing this and getting help I need. So there's a few things in here that I can 100% relate to, and I will 100% give my best effort to kind of answer it as much as I can. So they said how another weekend of binging. So that says to me, okay, it's a weekend thing. So recognizing, okay, are you in on the weekends? Are you doing nothing on the weekends? Is it because you're bored and you're eating? Like, there's so many things that I recognize within myself. Like, even today, I don't have good and bad days anymore necessarily. I have good and bad hours. And the hours that I'm in the flat and I'm on my desk doing work are the hours that I'm binging. Like, it's bad. And I can start off the day really well. Like, I can have yogurt for breakfast or something really healthy, and then give it an hour, I'm eating 12 chocolate bars, a packet of cookies, and God knows what. Pinpointing what the trigger is always the start to binge eating. But I still struggle with binge eating, so I can't give you the advice of how to get over it, unfortunately. But, okay, and you said you want to finally admit you have an issue. Admitting that you have an issue is kind of, it comes with its perks, but it also comes with its downfalls, because with binge eating, with me personally, I kind of see binge eating as such a negative thing, because the reason I say that is because what I binge on isn't nutritious foods. It's not good foods. It's junk foods, quote unquote. It's sugary foods. That's why more often than not I feel so guilty when I eat, because what I do eat is bad foods, but I don't know any different. I'm either extreme eating or I'm not eating at all. It's not linear. Like, recovering from binge eating isn't easy. It's not easy at all. And this person said how they feel like these things are escalating, and I do often think you go through phases with it, and just accepting that, okay, this is a binge eating phase. It's not going to last forever, but it will come back at some point if I'm not careful. And I want you to know that it's perfectly okay. This channel that I've made, it's a completely safe space to talk about anything you really wish. And don't ever feel like you're alone in suffering and feel like it's getting worse, because internally you're kind of like, oh God, this is an issue, but I'm too ashamed to talk about it. Don't feel ashamed, because trust me, in women, it's a lot more common than you think. A lot more common than you think. They also said how they're in a lot of debt. Now, I'm going to be so open about this. I am in a lot of debt, and it is from food. It is from food. I'm just going to say it now, and it might not seem like, it will seem like a lot, but it might not seem like a lot compared to other people who are in debt. But because this is solely food, I am minus £840 in debt of food. And I went through my spendings recently, and it was all Deliveroo, food, Morrison's, Tesco. And I'm not even joking you, it's not even like the weekly shop. It's not £800 in weekly shops and groceries, and it's £800 in junk food. It's £800 in quick Deliveroos that are not that healthy for you. Like, I completely get that. And I feel like with binge eating, not only is it taking over my mental health, not only is it taking over my weight and my exercise and my health, it's taking over my financials. It's taking over everything. It's taking over the way I view the world and the way the world is viewing me. Like, I don't know. It's one big spiral, and trying to cope with that is so overwhelming. And I want you to know that it's literally, you're just not alone. Like, you're not alone in that. And I don't think many people really speak on their financials anyway, so you're going to think that this is a bigger burden and a bigger problem than it is. But financially, I'm not even in the position to pay off my debt anytime soon. So it's a scary feeling. It's a horrible feeling in this day and age. It's a horrible feeling to be in debt, and to know that you're perhaps in debt because of food it's a bit sweet, because it's like, okay, but I need food to survive, so it's food, you know what I mean? So it's fine spending money on it. But equally, it's like, okay, but what kind of foods have I spent money on? And I've been foolish and I've been stupid to spend money on X, Y, and Z, do you know what I mean? And that's where it's like, ugh. They also said they have anxiety and depression, and they mentioned it to several GPs who dismissed it. GPs are honestly the worst. The way that people keep telling me, oh, go to a GP about your anxiety, it's like, no, they just prescribed me medication that when I was put on it, I was the worst I'd ever been, and I don't want to ever resort to medication again. And on my channel, I've said before how I'm really worried that it's damaging my health, this binge eating, and the more and more months that have gone by that I've been suffering with it, the more and more I've realised it's slowly deteriorating everything around me, everything about me. And if I don't sort this out now, I don't know where it's going to take me. And that's a very scary thought, because there's a lot. It's not as simple as, oh, I just binge eat, you know? If I said that, they're like, well, just stop eating as much. I wish, okay, someone else said 9 hours ago, ate 6,000 calories today. I've been binging every day for over a week, but today is by far the worst. I exercised today and it was downhill from there. This is the second day in a row where I've been so full I start gagging and eat 30 minutes later. I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to distract myself when I feel sick. I even switched to being vegetarian and vegan 3 months ago, so binges would be fewer calories. So I lost weight in the beginning, but I'm starting to put it all back on. I know my trigger is watching Netflix at night. It causes an insane binge every time. I know before my period I'll crave chocolate, which starts a binge too. A lot of the time the binges start, I feel so disgusting, but I keep going to punish myself. I'll have thoughts like, I don't deserve to be pretty, I'll never be skinny anyways, I'm not pretty enough, who cares how much I eat. These thoughts are awful, but at least I've become self-aware. I just don't know what to do from here. I've just finished the last part of my binge where my stomach is in so much pain. In the span of 30 minutes, I ate an entire bag of grapes, 1 full container of chocolate hummus, 2 plant-based meals, half a jar of grapeseed oil, and so much popcorn. So you can imagine how I've been feeling throughout the day. In the past few weeks, I would fix this by restricting or even purging when I'm desperate, but now I lack motivation and strength to do it. The scale is slowly increasing. I don't want to repeat the same cycle tomorrow. Oh my gosh. I feel like that Reddit post in itself, there is so much in there that explains binge eating. Like, I don't want to tear up. My gosh. Let's start off by addressing I exercised today and it went downhill from there. I've mentioned before how exercising can often bring on my binge eating more because you're burning the calories. So it depends what kind of exercise you do, but for me it was running, and I'd come home and I wouldn't feel that hungry, but later on I would be starving to the point where it's more than normal, and I would eat more than normal, and I'd end up eating probably way more than I would if I didn't exercise, and that makes me feel more unhealthy, and then I just get so confused. But it's just what your body wants, and it's what your body needs. It's definitely to do with nutrition, because it's not about how much you eat, it's about what you eat, and that's something I can't even navigate. They mentioned the gagging and feeling sick and not knowing what to do to distract yourself. Oh my gosh. The way this happens to me, right? Because I have crazy crazy emetophobia, but I also feel sick every day, and it doesn't make any sense because I'm a binge eater. I'm scared of sick, but also growing up, I never had a binge eating problem. I had a fear of food. So from one extreme to the other is very weird to me. It's very alien, but the way I cope with the anxiety and not knowing how to distract yourself when you feel sick is there is a, I don't know where you're from, but in the UK, there's something called Andrew salts, and you put it in water and it basically settles your stomach. That helps me. Ice helps me. Putting ice on my face when I feel really anxious or the thoughts are spiraling or whatever, that tends to calm me down. So those are the two things I would recommend. But obviously, if you're overeating and then you feel sick because you're overeating, obviously you don't want to always resort to the Andrew salts. But the way I relate to that though, because I would, well, sometimes always eat until I feel sick, because I can't gauge when I feel full, because my brain, I'm either eating because I'm emotional, or I'm eating because I'm sad. I'm eating because I'm filling the void somewhere deep down, whether I realize it or not. And I come to the acceptance of, okay, I'm not worthy, I'm not enough, and that's why I'll then eat the rest of the packet of biscuits or whatever it is. I've said it before, where I'll eat half a packet of biscuits and I'll be like, okay, I've come this far, I'm never gonna be skinny, I'm never gonna be worthy enough, so I may as well eat the whole thing. And then I end up binging the whole day because I'm like, I'm just never gonna be Bella Hadid, like I'm never gonna be, do you know what I mean? It's things like that. And that's the thought pattern that you have to kind of recognize. They said they switched to being vegetarian and vegan. I can speak about different diets I've been on all day, but what I'll say is dieting, I don't think is very good. I think it's good to a degree, but I don't think you should be restricting as much as you should be. You shouldn't go from one extreme to the other so fast, because that is when your body will be like, what is this food you're putting in me? Like, that always triggered my binge eating more than it would if I just slowly cut things out or still have the food freedom, which is what everyone talks about. But I completely get you on it. Said watching Netflix at night causes an insane binge every time. When you're watching TV, there's this thing in your brain, you're like, I want to eat, why would I not make this experience 10 times better by eating? And then you eat more than you think you should because your brain is so distracted and there's so many endorphins everywhere. Like, maybe you've had a stressful day, maybe your life isn't great, and you just need a distraction, you need a release, and that release is watching Netflix and eating. And you know, that might just be your way of coping with something. And that's where you kind of need to like look into other things of, okay, well, what could be the problem as to why I feel this way? It's just so hard, because I want to sit here and be like, you should find a healthier alternative. But I am such a hypocrite. I can't even say that. I can't even bring my words to say that, because I am that person. Like, I am that person that will binge and sit and eat and watch TV, and that will be my release. I don't go for exercise for endorphins. Are you kidding me? I used to, not anymore. It said about before your period you'll crave chocolate, which starts the binge too. Oh my gosh. The way I am addicted to chocolate, it is not even funny. Chocolate is so difficult to come off of. Before your period, it's so normal to crave chocolate. Do you know why? Because you're lacking iron and you're lacking something like magnesium or something like that. And those are the two minerals that those chocolate have, and your body almost needs it. Do you know what I mean? So don't ever feel guilty for something you can't control within your body, your period, that being, and you want something that's gonna, you know, give you the nutrients in some kind of sense. Do you know what I mean? And chocolate is just so good, so addictive. I don't blame you, but I 100% agree. Chocolate and anything sweet and anything addictive will trigger a binging episode, because it is addictive, and it sends these signals to your brain. I was like, okay, I like that, I want some more of that. And something I'll say is, I won't eat for the whole morning sometimes, and I'll be like, oh, I'm not hungry, I don't want food. The second I start eating is the second I start binging, because my brain is like, oh, this food is so good, like, keep eating. When if I just hadn't have eaten, I wouldn't have eaten that much, you know what I mean? So it's like this whole internal battle within me, in myself. You said you're scared to repeat the same cycle tomorrow, which, listen, you have to take things day by day. You, like, with this kind of thing, it's even hour by hour. It literally is hour by hour. I can't even look at the next day. I can't even look at today. Like, I'm thinking of the next hour. Am I going to binge? Am I going to stay healthy? Am I going to go on a run? And it's draining. It really is. But I can't think of a whole day in itself, because that is too much and that is too overwhelming. The thought of not binging for a whole day is terrifying. It's terrifying. And it's too much pressure. It's too much pressure for me. And I crack under pressure. I do. I'll just say it. So yeah, I don't know if I answered any of that. I really hope I did. But if you're suffering from binge eating, my DMs are always open. Kori Blonde and the Girl Math Pod on Instagram. Message me. Comment below, whatever you want to do. Our community is always here. And yeah, join the family if you're new. And subscribe. So yeah, I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.